So that's it. Now we're live on YouTube. I'll explain a few things about Talk and Talk before we start. As you know, we are a conversation platform where I can come here and talk in a lot of languages. Today we're speaking in English about what makes something Kafkaesque, right? So it's a difficult term. It's not that difficult. So let's start with the first question. Have you ever been in a frustrating and complicated situation due to confusing rules and paperwork? Can you describe that experience? So let's start with you, Juliana. Have you ever been in a situation like that?
You are muted, Juliana.
Juliana, you're muted. Eu travei, não sabia se ela tinha travado, but you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see if I understood about this term. It's like when we have a problem or difficult, if we consider like impossible to solve like that. I don't know if it mean
more or less. Like in that case, here the question is asking you if you have ever been in a situation like that. Se você esteve numa situação dessa, né, que era complicada por causa de confusas ou muito paperwork, né, que seria muita papelada, enfim. Can you describe this experience? Have you ever been in a complicated situation because of that?
Oh, yeah. My last job, I had many situations involved this situations when frustrated and complicated, but the most of time we can solve the problem, and that's it. I think
perfect. That's it. Nice. And you, Aline, have you ever been in a frustrating and complicated situation due to using rules or paperwork?
Yes, but I don't remember any specific situation. But always, when you need to solve something with government, always I have headache because it's complicated, or like I don't know, when I need to make my, how can I say that, imposto de renda, my tax fund, I don't know how can I say that, but I think it's really confusing because have a lot of things to input in the system, and I don't know, sometimes I think they can't make it easy for us, because they know how we need to pay in the tax, so just say it and I pay.
Yeah, they make it harder than it would be, right? It could be easier. That's true. Perfect. That's a nice example. Perfect. And you, Igor, have you ever been in a frustrating and situation due to these problems?
Yes, I kind of agree with Aline. Like every time I have to deal with the government, it's something like that, It's so difficult, so many paperwork.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the most common one as we have some problems, the government. Every time we need to do something, it takes a while. We need a lot of paper. That's true. And you, Rafael, have you ever been in a frustrating and complicated situation due to confusing rules and paperwork?
Yeah, I have a specific one that happened recently. Although I studied in Viçosa at UFV, I'm in Belo Horizonte now due to an internship. And last semester, I was trying to get it's called academic mobility to study here in UFMG. And there is a national deadline for that, which is April 28th. But the UFV site said that it was May 28th. And even though I had a phone there, call there, they said the deadline was right. So I just got all the paperwork by May 28th. And when I sent, they said that was wrong and the site was wrong and the deadline was missed. So I couldn't get my moving here to Belo Horizonte. And that was kind of frustrating because now I kind of need to go to Viçosa every week to have classes and come back here to work. It's kind of, problematic.
That's true. The government, right? And UFV always working for us. They're really good. So that's it. So let's go to question number 2. What do you think Kafkaesque means? If you're familiar with the term, which most of you are, but that's no problem, I won't. If you were not familiar with the term, how would you describe something that is unnecessarily complicated and frustrating? So basically, something like that changed. How would you describe that? Why is like that? Unnecessarily complicated and difficult. So let's see. Igor, how would you describe something that is unnecessarily complicated and frustrating?
Well, I can give one example about the taxes. No, you don't. I can give one example about the taxes that was also the example that Aline used, which is like when you have to pay your taxes, you don't know how much you have to pay. You know, you have to insert a lot of documents, and then you know, you don't know. You'll pay whatever the systems tells you, and then after that you're gonna receive the amount that exceeded, or you receive a notification that you have to pay something more. So I think this is unnecessary. If the government was, you know, worried about it, they could just say how much we have to pay and then we pay. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. It's unnecessarily difficult, right? They could make it easier. That's true. And you, Juliana, how would you describe something that is unnecessarily complicated and frustrating?
Nowadays, I consider unnecessarily the process of hiring, for example, using Guppy. Oh my God.
So boring. I hate.
It's very boring. I think it's unnecessarily, really unnecessarily.
That's true. I agree with you. I don't like it. You can just schedule an interview, right? You don't need to do all of those tests from Guppy. I hate those. Terrible.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's complicated. That's true. And you, Rafael, how would you describe something that is unnecessarily complicated?
I think that not everything that is complicated is unnecessary. For example, things about the government, taxes, and everything, those need to be complicated, but they shouldn't be hard to do. So the problem is not about how much paperwork you need to do or how many things you need to tell the government about, but the fact that it's not easy to do. The government don't tell us how to do this properly. So if the complicated things were more clear, we could do it easily. So it wouldn't be so complicated at first. So I think the problem is not about how hard things are to do, but how much we lack of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should have a tutorial, right?
for everything.
Yeah, explaining how to do things, and those serious things nobody explains to us, right? How to do. And
but I think
we don't learn them at school. Eu travei, né, gente? Eu travei.
No.
Yes. Okay, now I'm here. And they don't explain this to us, right? Nobody explains how to do taxes, for example. Nobody explained to me how to do them. We need to learn by ourselves. So they should have a tutorial. If we need to do that, we are forced to do. You can say.
Yeah. É porque você tá meio com delay daí, na hora que eu começo a falar, você ainda tá falando.
Sorry, guys. My internet connection is terrible today, but you can say what you want. Sorry.
But I think that some things they do unnecessarily hard, so we need to pay someone to do for us. For example, taxes, we need to pay how do you say contador?
Accountant.
Accountant, yeah. For example, 2 months ago, I was trying to register a copyright, and you register everything in the INPI site. It's the government website for registering copyright and patents and everything else. But the process is made so complicated that most of the times you need to pay someone for doing this. And for example, if you do it by yourself, you're going to pay like 100 reais. And if you need to pay someone for do this, you're going to pay 2,000, 3,000 reais. So the process isn't hard because it needs to be hard. It is hard because if it wasn't, you could do it by yourself. And if you could do it by yourself, there weren't people being paid for do so. So I think they make those things hard on purpose. So you need to pay someone for do it too.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense, right? There wouldn't be accountants if life was easy. Emily, how would you describe something that is unnecessarily complicated and frustrating?
I don't know, maybe you describe it with, when you need to do something and you have a shortcut to do that, but you can use because the people, I don't know, want to complicate it. I don't know. Sometimes I think the government and they need to complicate it to difficult something for us, because if you turn us confusing about something, probably we will be in wrong and you can pay more taxes. For example, you will spend a lot of time to do something, and probably maybe we have some rights and you stay a long time without receive that because they procrastinated some benefits, or I don't know, many things. So I describe it in that way.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And it makes total sense, right? It's hard to do, you're going to do it wrong. So you need to do it again or pay more or anything. So it makes total sense. That's true. So let's go to question number 3. Can you recall a time when you faced obstacles or challenges that didn't make sense in a place with a lot of rules, like a government office or a company? Just like you were saying, right? How did you handle it and how did it make you feel? So, for example, in my case, I had a problem recently because in college, I did an internship last year. The guys from the school that I was working, they didn't send to my college a paper telling that I finished the internship. So it lasted like more time supposed to last. And my college thought I was still doing that internship, but I wasn't. So it was a complicated thing to do because I needed to call the school and solve this problem. It was so boring. So it's terrible. I like challenges and obstacles and with rules that makes no sense. That's it, my experience. Let's see about your experience. Igor, can you recall a time that you faced challenges like that?
Yes, I think so. Let me see. Well, in the past, I used to work in the military. I worked in the Brazilian Navy for 5 years. And when I was there, I had some very good ideas about how to improve their system. For example, I was a developer in my last year there, and I had really good ideas about how to improve that. And, if you guys think that a company is complicated, imagine the military. It's so difficult to change anything, They use a lot of old technology and they just don't want to change. I don't know why, but it's very difficult.
It's like tradition, right? Most of people don't want to change. Change requires a lot of effort, right? So the people don't want to change because of that, I guess, but makes sense. Okay. And you, Juliana, can you recall a time when you faced obstacles like that?
Yeah. Recently, I moved with my family to Portugal. I live in Portugal nowadays, and before we moved, we need to take a, I don't know, take a process with visa, and we need to put a lot of documents and resolve, can solve, how can I say, apostilamento with documents. It's specific, we need a lot of specific documents to move, do you know? And it's boring, and I think that there are a lot of things unnecessary in this process, you know, and it's how can I say, demorar? I forgot this word
It's
in
long.
English. Yeah,
It's
it's a long time in this process.
There are a lot of stories, right, that people who moved abroad and they have trouble with paperwork because, like, you need a lot of documents just to move yourself because it's another country or something like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I know Portugal is far away, but sometimes it's like, imagine a person is living in, I don't know, in the border of a country next to another country, and they want to move. So they need to do a lot of paperwork to do a slightly moving. So, like, doesn't make a lot of sense in my head, but okay, bureaucracy, right? That's it. Lini, can you recall a time when you faced obstacles like that?
Yes, I don't remember well, but I remind once I needed to go in a registry place. You know, cartório. I don't know how can I say that, but in a registry place, and I don't remember when I needed to do that. But probably validate a document, you know, I don't remember. But before went to the cartory registry, I don't know. I called that, and I asked all the documents we needed to do that. And of course, I went there with all documents they asked me, and when I get in, how can I say that? They give me a password, number password, and I wait a lot of time there. And when they attended me, the guy showed asked my documents. He looked for all documents, and he said for me, "Oh, you need another document. I don't see. I don't see here. So you need to come back the other day." And I do and said her, no. I called there here. I asked for that people. I said the name of the person who attended me, and that people said me these documents, it was necessary. I came with all the documents, so I need to solve this today, and you help me with this. So the guy, oh, okay. So they solved my problem in that day, in that moment, in 5 minutes. and I thought, oh my God, if I come back, I don't know, get another document, probably I will waste my time, because it was possible solve that problem with the same documents. It really was difficult, the situation for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed off.
It's always difficult. Of course, because you need to wait so long to for someone to call you for you to solve your problem. You need to wait for a long time, and when you arrive there, the person says, no, it's not enough, you need something else. Come on, you call there, solve the problem, you prevent the situation, and then it happens. I would be pissed off. Jesus Christ, terrible. But it's common to see that happening, right? But it's boring. And you, Rafael, can you recall a time when you faced obstacles that didn't make sense?
Yeah, when I had an exchange program in Egypt, so in Egypt, you don't need to get a visa before you get there. So you can buy the visa in the airport. But I was kind of worried about that. It sounded kind of strange. And so I got the visa here in Brazil, sent all the documents to the Egyptian embaixadors. Embaixada? I think it's that. Embaixada, embaixadas, né?
Jesus Christ. Guys, let me change my hotspot section because it's terrible. So I'm going to change it because you were freezing a little bit and I can't understand. I'm sorry. Let me change here and then you can continue. I'm so sorry. Jesus. What is happening? Okay, now I guess it's going to work, so you can continue. Sorry, Rafael.
Sent all the documents to the embaixada, como fala, você sabe?
Embassy.
Embassy. Eu tava com bachelor's na cabeça, mas enfim. I've sent all the documents to the embassy, and they returned everything right with the visa, and it's all good. Also, as it was an exchange program, I had the go and back tickets. I had the place I was going to stay, the place I was going to work, everything on paper, the application letter, everything right. And we was going, me and two other friends of mine. So when we finally got there, the policy officer, the border control man, he started to ask us things that made absolutely no sense. He started to ask for documents that didn't even exist. And the main problem is that the guy's English wasn't really good. He spoke with a hard Arabic accent, and he started to speak English with Arabic in the middle. We couldn't understand anything. But he wasn't willing to let us enter the country with no reason. There was some other Brazilians with us, and we didn't know them, but they were on the same flight, and they got the same problem. So we started to think that it was something with people from abroad, because the people who look at Arabic, even though not Egypt, was going in easily. And we started to think that he was trying to get something on some wrong manner, trying to get us to do something we shouldn't. So, for example, he started to ask us to pay a fee that didn't exist. I showed him my visa that I already had, and he said that that visa wasn't working because I needed to buy the visa there. So we started to argue with the man, and it lasted for almost 2 hours in the border control. The airport area got empty, everybody went, and we were there. So finally some other officers arrived, and they let us pass. So at the time, I just thought that that man wasn't even doing something right. He was trying to get something by that. And probably it was correct, because later I've heard from other people that got there at the same time by me, that they got in the country easily. They got with the visa they had here in Brazil, they got easily, and they needed to pay nothing. So I think that the man was trying to use the bureaucracy and the legal things we didn't know to try to extort us or something like that.
But this is common even in Brazil, right? People trying to use the law to like get something more, I guess. So it's common to see that. It's terrible.
It's common everywhere.
It's common everywhere. That's true. So let's go to question number 4. Have you ever felt like your achievements didn't matter because of complicated systems or judgments? Can you give an example and explain how it affected your motivation or satisfaction? So like, I don't know, let me give you guys an example. It didn't happen with me, but maybe it happened with someone. Like you graduated from, I don't know, college, and then you don't have your diploma. I forgot diploma in English, your certification that you graduated, because you need to finish 1 hour in college. Like you need to finish your hour, but you graduated, so you don't have your paper. So it's something that blocked your achievement because of the system, right? So can you give an example if something like that ever happened to you? So let's see. Juliana, have you ever felt like some achievements didn't matter because of complicated systems?
I don't remember any specific situation like that, but let me see. In my last job, I have had a situation like that. I was without my, how can I say crachá?
I don't know. Remember. I need to check. I forgot. And I used to say that a lot of times because I like that. So let me see here because I had no idea. Badge or name tag.
Badge. But I was in a place when there are a lot of people knew me, you know, and my boss passed normally, but and he was without his badge too, but they couldn't matter about it, but with me they got a press. We need to show your badge, and I didn't understand in this moment, but we talk about it, and they solved this problem.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So it seemed like you didn't work there because you're not wearing a badge. That's it.
Yeah, but these people know me, do you know?
Mm-hmm. So they were just like joking with you, né? Estavam só fazendo uma sacanagem, né? Because they know you, right?
Exactly.
Okay, terrible. Some people, they are complicated to deal with, right? But that's it. And you, Aline, have you ever felt like your achievements didn't matter because of complicated systems or judgments?
Once in a place when I worked maybe 10 years ago, I don't remember exactly. We had some goals to achievement. All department, all areas needed had a goal, and I remember in that case, it's not it's a how can I say that? It's a hard goal. It's a difficult goal to achievement, but we use it to work 10 hours per day. So after the period, we are measure the results. Almost the people and almost the leaders achieved the goals. And in the moment to pay the bonus, my boss, the CEO of the startup, put a lot of difficult rules to measure that. It was new rules, new different rules to pay less for all team. So of course it was horrible. It was a horrible situation, and I feel frustrating. I feel an idiot because of course all the people who achieved the goals, we work 10 hours per day to get there. And after that, we just we don't receive it, the completely bonus, because they put a lot of new rules inside in that way we were measure the results.
Mm-hmm. This seems really unfair, right? Because like if you establish some rules before, you can change them completely, and after the thing was done, right? So it's not fair, but that's it. Life's like this, right? It happens sometimes. And you, Igor, have you ever felt like your achievements didn't matter because of complicated systems? Igor, you're muted. Don't forget it. Okay.
No, yeah, I'm trying to think like, no, not because complicated systems, like because of people judgments, yes, but complicated systems, I don't remember any specific case right now.
But what would be one case related to people's judgments?
Oh, that's that's kind of it's complicated, right? I mean, I was born in Rio de Janeiro, and well, I have a degree in information system. I have a bachelor's. I am in the middle of my master's degree right now. But in Rio, you know, I'm Black, and that's enough for having, you know, one security guy follow me anytime I enter a store, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is really complicated, right? Being judged for other people is really bad, but it happens a lot, right? But it shouldn't. People should stop that. It's true. And you, Rafael, have you ever felt like your achievements didn't matter because of complicated systems or judgments?
Exactly, but I've got a small problem when I got my driving license. Basically, there is 2 dates of the driving license. So when I got them, it was wrong. It was my birth date for some reason. I saw that right on spot and went to the Tran. So I showed the woman who was working there. I showed them that the date was wrong, and her first act was to get the license from me. So I've asked if I could use the license while it was there, while they solved the problem, I mean. And she said I couldn't because the document was wrong and they needed to fix it and everything. So she took the license from me, and it took almost 2 months to return a new document. And it was like, just change the date. I don't know why it took so long, but it took almost 2 months to retrieve the document. So my first 2 months of being able to drive, I wasn't able to drive. It was not a big problem, but it was kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's sad because I don't drive, but I guess for someone who likes, it's terrible. So let's go to question number 5. What makes an experience feel really complicated and frustrating to you? Can you think of any personal experiences that had those characteristics? So what makes something complicated and frustrating for you? Maybe it's different from other people, right? So let's see. Let's start with Aline. Aline, what makes an experience feel really complicated and frustrating?
Oh, that's I think that's a lot of things frustrating because, you know, life. But one thing it's the most complicated for me. It's some biases, you know, biases. I think it's biases, yeah. In gender biases in environment, places, for example. It's hard because the society always expected from a woman that a woman needs to be kindful, always smile and say yes all the time. You don't you can't talk about your opinion in a directly way, because you always will judge like rude people. And not recently, 5 years ago, more or less, I read a book called Subliminal. And in that book, there was I studied a lot of studies, but a specific study about that case. And in that study, the scientists use male and female voices to say the same thing, and ask for some volunteers to talk what they feel about that sentence. And all the time, the female voices was how can I say that? It was like the female voices was rude or unnecessary, or said something in an unnecessary way. And the male voices, it's like, oh, he was firm, or he getting the directly point. So all the time we are, if you are a woman, you will be judged in a different way. And after read that book, I realize all the time I pass with the situations like this, and it's horrible, because if you say about that in a clearer way, probably the guy said, no, it's not cause this, it's cause you're rude. You didn't need to say that in that way. So I think that situation, it was the horrible for me all the time.
I hate this. I think it's terrible. Most of the people think women need to be soft, right? But maybe we can be soft, but maybe we don't want to be soft. Maybe we're not like that. Maybe we are assertive and direct, just like a man can be, right? So it doesn't make any sense in my head. This happens, but I know it happens, which is terrible. But I think it happens also on the other side. For example, if a man is too soft, it's wrong, he's feminine, right? So it's something that affects both genders. So people should stop with that, these gender norms. It's terrible. Let's see. Juliana, what makes an experience feel really complicated and frustrating to you?
I had an experience similar with Aline, when a man judged a woman because we are women. So in my job, we need to do a search, involve the social media, and in a specific moment and in this work, we had difficult because the leaders, some leaders in some areas, they didn't give informations, and these men, horrible men, they said to me, it's hard for a woman because woman is more, how can I say, fragile in English? I don't know.
Fragile.
Yeah. Woman is more fragile, and in this moment we need to put a pressure, and you need to how can I say, cobrar, charge more. And I think it's hard to a woman to do this. I can't believe this, and I felt a frustration about it. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But I can can do this. I
can
thank
deal with
God.
it, né? Learned how to deal. Aprendeu a lidar, né? It happens. We need to deal with it. And by the way, you were saying that, and I remembered yesterday I was on Instagram and I saw a meme. It was not a meme, but it was like an image critiquing this situation, criticizing this situation. It was like that lady from The Devil Wears Prada. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, né? O Diabo Veste Prada, aquela moça. And then Tony Stark from Marvel. And they're both like CEOs from companies. And then they say that this lady is terrible. She's the worst person ever because she says people to do things that she commands. And Tony Stark is a genius. So like it's two views, different views because of gender, right? So it happens a lot, not only here in Brazil, but all over the world, right? Terrible, but it happens. Igor, what makes an experience feel really complicated and frustrating to you?
Let's see. Well, for me, it's just frustrating if I can't do nothing about it. If I can do something about it, that's not that frustrating. But yeah, sometimes we just, we can't do nothing about it. And yeah, I can give one personal experience that I have here. Well, I studied in a university that has around 70 countries. And every time that you meet someone, the first question that comes, is, where are you from, for example? And every time that I say I'm from Brazil, people always answers back, and why are you here then? People think that Brazil is different than their countries, and they don't think it's reasonable leave Brazil, for example. And they don't think that maybe you're here just because of the education. They think that you're here, because you're running from, I don't know. That's a frustrating experience because I just don't know what to answer. When people ask me, why are you here then? I answer, why are you here? It's the same,
That's true. It's complicated to be judged because where are you from, right? Because of origin. You shouldn't be judged because of that. By the way, we had a meeting this week. It was like how other countries see Brazilians. And it's complicated because sometimes we feel like we are not
they just
enough.
See stalkers, to be honest.
Sorry?
No, I said that they just see soccer, to be honest.
Yeah, it's soccer, carnival, and like Amazon rainforest. That's what we got, and nothing else. And I don't think it's like that. I'm sure it's not like that in Brazil. I live here. So, and people should see more things about Brazil, right? But they don't. They just think we are dumb and we dance samba all day long. So come on, it's not like that. Terrible.
It's like that Simpson episode where they come to Brazil.
The Simpsons episode, this famous
it's like
one.
A lot of monkey dancing, cabeça, ombro, joelho, pé, como é que chama?
Head and shoulders, knees and toes. Terrible.
And
it's like
girls with bikini all over the place dancing samba, and that's it. That's Brazil.
It's terrible, this view that we have, and this stereotype is something that we don't have from other countries. Like other countries, they are good. Even if it's a poor country, we don't sexualize women like that, and we don't see a country as like one sport. We know what happens in other countries. This is something that happens only in Brazil. I hate that. It's terrible. And you, Rafael, what makes an experience feel really complicated and frustrating to you?
I think that, as we've all spoke here, the main problem and the most frustrating thing is when you are judged by who you are, where you come from, what to do, what you like, and not by the real metrics that are whatever you are. For example, if you are at work, you should be evaluated by how you go at work. So how are you delivering the qualities you deliver there? If you're at school, your grades, you're enthusiastic about studying and everything. And people don't judge you by what they shoot. They judge you by they prejudice. So they judge you by what they think. And most of the time, what they think comes and stop and what they can see. So, for example, color, gender, and anything else. Social abilities, for example. So nobody likes the quiet guy, for example. So I think this is the most frustrating thing anyone can go through, because it's like the world saying that you shouldn't be who you are, that you shouldn't do what you like to do, how do you like to live. People judge others by their lifestyle, their clothes, everything. So this is very frustrating. And some of the times it's strange because people judge others by their qualities also. For example, calling someone a nerd shouldn't be an insult. You are just calling someone a genius, and this is an insult. This makes absolutely no sense. I think that the society has got some a lot of problems with how people see each other. And I don't think people are ready to deal with that. This has gotten so in ourselves. We do this with notice, and that's really problematic about our society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess the main problem is the differences. We don't know how to deal with differences. Like, if you're not just like me, you are wrong. You need to live just like me. Like, if I am a white guy, I probably will like more white guys. So, like, if life's like that, we walk with the ones who are similar to us in appearance, in a way of life, and it's terrible. We should deal better with differences, right? And accept other people the way they are, because we are different, and this is beautiful, in my opinion. So, guys, because of our time, let's stop.